Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Melody Dizon from CPRTV, Chicago Philippine Reports TV, and with me today is our Consulate General, Mr. Generoso Calonge. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, Melody. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again. I'm so glad you're here with us. Thank you for coming to the show and being with us today.
Of course, anytime for you.
Oh, thank you. So today we are here because we are nearing to the end of your term.
Okay.
It's sad to say we don't want it to end, but we're nearing. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think I've told you many times that in our service, there's no such thing as goodbye. Our farewell greeting is always see you somewhere, see you sometime, someplace in the world, or in another part of the world. So there's no goodbyes.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So my feelings are ambivalent because I have fallen in love with Chicago, and I like the people. People are warm. People are friendly, and they're so receptive to us in the consulate, and they're very, very helpful. I have had enormous support from all the members of the community, especially the leaders, and I have no complaints against the community, especially the media.
Yes, that's right. I think you have not endured, but endeared a lot of the community and the Filipino people towards the consulate. And I think the big part of that is because of you as the leader and bringing everybody together. I think it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful sight to see. And if you can maybe run with us any projects or any success that the consulate has done over the period of time that you were there, would you be able to name to us or any kind of specific timeline, stuff that you have done for the community?
Oh, I think there's a number of achievements we have made. Number one, I would like to claim credit that I have made the community a lot closer to the Filipino community and its leadership. And we have monthly meetings there called Pagkikita sa Konsulado. In fact, we have one tonight. And we're going to welcome the new president of DePaul University. And he is a source of pride for all Filipinos. And we'll be very happy to be with him tonight. Last night we had a forum with the Philippine American Business Council of Greater Chicago. We have had outreaches in practically all states that we cover, except that the outreach this time has been canceled for the rest of the year for budgetary reasons. But since I arrived, we have always stretched out our hand so that we have more and more Filipinos to serve, from where we are all the way to New Orleans, to Mississippi, to the Dakotas, everywhere. Also, we have been working hard so that investments will flow into the Philippines, and we are. As soon as I arrived, a few months before I arrived, Northern Trust established a branch in the Philippines, operational branch, and now because of our constant contacts with them, they're expanding their operations there, their accounting operations, their back office operations. So also there are other companies that are exploring the Philippines, and we have also witnessed during my term the influx of investments the other way from the Philippines to the United States. You must have seen with your own eyes Jollibee.
Correct.
Although Seafood City is California based, it's owned by a Filipino. And last night, Tanduay opened its stores in Illinois. They have appointed a representative 2 weeks ago. And he was there last night, and he will come again tonight.
That is such an awesome
Tanduay, would you
achievement.
believe? Tanduay there's an Italian brand that's just ahead of it by a little bit. But you're not supposed to mention that brand. But it's just ahead by I think
Slight
0.3.
margin.
Yeah,
Wow.
but its exposure is worldwide. While Tandua is, in a few
Not even.
continents too.
Correct.
Yeah, so with his drive, the new rep from Illinois, who has been in the wine spirits industry for more than 20 years, he believes that he can overtake that European brand.
Oh, that is so awesome.
So imagine the employment it can generate in the
Yes,
Philippines.
yes.
Imagine the media mileage of the Philippines, and imagine the international exposure
Yes, correct.
of the brand and the Philippines.
Oh, that is so good. It
So-
makes me so proud already just hearing all of that.
Oh
You know?
yes, oh yes.
And true recipient as well, just being there as one of the business owners for the home health industry, that
Oh,
you
yeah.
call business people to gather in the
Yes.
consulate and just giving people heads up what's going on, this is what's happening, and all that. I think it truly is a good mark of leadership when you bring all the leaders together and just kind of convene and put our heads together how we could help the community and all.
Oh yeah.
And all sorts. So I really have to give that to you because I can see that.
So I invite you tonight to meet with Dr. Esteban if you have the time. He is
Okay.
the president, the incoming president of DePaul,
Uh-huh.
and he moved from the presidency of Seton Hall in New Jersey.
Okay.
So from one presidency to another,
Nice.
and he's the first lay leader of a university in the Midwest, of a Catholic university. First lay leader. That's some achievement to me.
That-
And he's a
that is
UP graduate, and I'm very proud to be hosting him tonight.
That's wonderful.
Okay, so I'm inviting you. On this
Okay, that would be good. So in as much as pretty sure we have all those achievements and successes, I would also think there may be some hurdles or challenges that as a Consul General that you have encountered. Is there still some that are still left that we have not you have not uncovered yet, or is there something that we still have to tackle?
Oh yeah, it's full of challenges. Almost every day. One challenge is that we have not been able to fully unify the community. For example, there are still two groups that celebrate Philippine Independence Day, and I hope that beyond my term, these two groups would amalgamate into one. Okay. The other is it saddens me to see what's happening with the Rizal Center, because I have had in my own drawing board, I have had grand plans for that center. We planned on calling it Centro Rizal, as inspired by all the efforts of all diplomatic missions of the Philippines worldwide to establish some kind of a parallel to the Goethe Center of the Germans, the Jefferson Center of the United States. These centers, there's a Spanish center also, Cervantes Center. So we want to imitate that, and there are already about 20 plus worldwide, and I want that to be added to the list, because that is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, Rizal
Correct.
centers of any Filipino community in the world.
Correct.
I think that was established in the late 50s, 59 or 58, and it preceded all of the Centro Rizals that we have now. I was very proud when I learned about its history, but I saw on YouTube certain differences that they had, and it saddens me because that would have been a beacon to all young men and women
Correct.
of Filipino heritage to look up to as a place where our culture is enshrined. Because I have spoken with many quite elderly now people, Filipinos here in Chicagoland, who have very fond memories of that place. And I don't want it to be lost
To lose that, correct.
in mere disagreements among community
That's right.
members.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, and the other thing is, I went to a NAFA convention a few weeks ago in Ohio, and I was a junior officer in Washington when NAFA was being formed, and one of the goals of NAFA was to launch a Filipino or an American of Filipino heritage into positions of responsibility, especially elective positions, and it pains me to see that we have not succeeded in that regard yet. So maybe the mayors that I have asked Veronica to get in touch with will one day launch themselves into higher
Yeah.
office because they're quite popular.
Correct.
Mayor Rita in Nebraska and Mayor Falcone in Ohio. They're very young, they're quite young, and they still have time to seek higher offices. So that's one. Those are actually strategic plans that we will keep working on, and it's just that it pains me to see that other minority groups have attained
Succeeded,
yeah,
right.
attained power through their own steam, through their own through their own
Efforts and
yeah,
stuff, yeah.
Their cooperative means of achieving power without what I call would be the extreme differences we have in cooperative work.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how to put it.
Right,
but,
exactly. To put it nicely, maybe. Yeah, that's true. But let's be hopeful. Hopefully, one day, we'd
Yeah.
like to see it one day that everybody would be united, would be in one roof all together, be a real community. Let's just be hopeful. I hope that it'll happen.
It may not be achievable in that fashion, but
Yeah.
at least we should minimize our differences.
I understand.
And for whatever we aspire for, let us lessen the obstacles
Yeah.
towards their achievement.
I get that. I
Okay.
get that. Now, your term, sir, is ending end of this August, correct?
That's my original appointment.
Okay.
But as you know, we had an ambassador's tour 3 weeks ago. We went to Davao.
Okay.
We saw the president. We saw the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. And when I came back here on the 20th of July, after about a week, I received orders to hang on for a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
So I will be. It's not the end of my term on
Okay.
on the 31st of August.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear. For us, we keep, we
Yeah.
can still hang on to you.
Yeah.
And so, if there would be anything that you would miss from Chicago, what would it be?
Well, I would miss you.
Oh, that's so
I miss,
sweet.
I
Ooh.
will miss your company, Brother Joe, and our sister here. Shall I mention her name? She owns the production, so
The weather. How about the weather? Will you miss the weather?
Not that, no. But really, in all my tours abroad, I have at least twice before experienced very severe winters. When I was posted in Moscow, when I was a student in Boston, those were really severe winters. So when I came here, not that I got used immediately, but
Correct.
I was psychologically and physically prepared for it. So I think the matter of facing winter is just a state of mind,
state of mind.
having the proper equipment for it, like gloves, hats, etc. So it doesn't really bother me. In fact, I like a four-season place
Yes.
compared to the Philippines. Although I miss the Philippines, our weather there is always pleasant, so we don't miss the pleasant weather.
Yeah.
Here, if it is a good day like now,
We
you say,
appreciate it
"Oh,
more.
what a beautiful
Yes,
day."
yes, I truly understand.
But there it's a beautiful day every day.
Every day, that's
Although
true.
now it's getting warmer also,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of pollution.
That's right.
So
That's right.
those are some of the challenges back home.
Yeah.
But with respect to the weather, really, I can cope.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
plus it wasn't really a bad winter, so to say.
in
It's
the
been
past
really
3 years.
very mild, so it
Yeah.
really went to your favor. How about that?
That's what they
Wow.
say. They say that the winter this year might be terrible.
Oh, they always say that never happens. Right? Yeah, but so do you have any parting words to our Filipino community, to our kababayans? You have anything to say to them?
Well, I'd like our kababayans, if I were to be obeyed, so to speak, to keep their Filipino identity, to love their roots, not to lose our Philippine languages, It's not just Tagalog, the other languages like Ilocano, Bisaya, Cebuano, our Muslim languages. We should keep them. We should talk to our children in our language. Don't worry, they will not lose English because English is here to stay. They have the newspapers in English, the TV stations in English, like we're talking in English. And so everything is in English. So some parents fear that if they talk to their children in our languages, they might lose command of the English language. I don't think that's true. They say that at a certain age, from 0 to I think 8 or 9, 7, right? The brain of a child is like a sponge.
Correct.
It can absorb simultaneously
Yep.
languages, and if we do that, we will really become a force in America, in the United States, because our identity will never be lost.
Correct.
So that's one. The second is I suggest our kababayans to always be cooperative. I know that in the past we have had regional differences, but if you go back to the Philippines now, it's different. It's no longer the same. We noticed, well, I noticed personally that the domestic flights are always full. So Filipinos are traveling. Same is true with flights to Hong Kong, to Vietnam, to Bangkok, Seoul, and to Tokyo. So regionally, not to mention Guam and Saipan. So regionally, Filipinos are always moving, and we now have developed a cosmopolitan outlook in the world. And I think in the next century or even less, the Philippines will come of age, because now, especially in the Midwest, in the United States, Filipino food is on its way. We'll have a food festival soon, next month.
Cool.
The consulate is one of the sponsors of a food festival featuring Philippine food.
That's good.
So those are things you can look forward to, and our kababayans will take comfort in the fact that our country is progressing very well, economically at least. And we are getting known far and wide as a country that's full of happy people, and hopefully very soon full of comfortable and a little bit wealthier people.
Hard workers as well, very hardworking people.
All right.
And very full of values people.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
religious too.
Religious too, that's right. Well, Conjen, I really thank you for your time.
Of course.
Coming here and, having this interview with us. Again, we truly appreciate and honor you for taking on the role and really giving a positive image and also sharing your heart to the Filipino community. We really take this time again to thank you and appreciate for what you do.
Thank you, and may I ask how many more interviews I'll get from you? You have had so many interviews
I
with
know,
me.
right?
So,
yeah, well,
just let
as
me
long
know.
as it takes and how many as it takes, because we appreciate you. You've been a positive force to the Filipino community. So
Thank you, and thank you, Veronica. And we welcome all the awardees in the consulate.
that's right.
Okay?
Thank you.
And my brother Joe. Okay?
Thank you. Maraming salamat po.